Welcome to Tenacity with Sonia C., the podcast where entrepreneurs, founders, and ambitious professionals come to learn from those who have walked the path, navigating challenges and achieving success. Whether it's thriving in business, pivoting, scaling for growth, fundraising, or finding work-life balance, dealing with loneliness, adversity, or overcoming personal struggles. Our guests share the insights and strategies that have empowered them to level up. I'm your host, Sonia, and let's get started. My guest today is Meeky Hwang, a seasoned tech entrepreneur. Today, we're not diving into code or platforms. We're digging into the entrepreneurial journey behind it all. With over 20 years in the tech industry, Meeky has built a company from the ground up while navigating the complex realities of leadership, resilience, and being a woman in a male-dominated space. In this episode, we talk about what it takes to build credibility, make tough pivots, and lead through personal and professional challenges. Hi, Meeky. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm always excited to have these conversations, and hopefully today's will be what I did not plan for.
That's always the fun ones.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. I want you to take us back to the earlier days of Endeavor. What inspired you to start the company, and what was your vision back then?
So I think I said this in some of the other interviews that we started. So I'm a co-founder. So I'm a co-founder
Mm-hmm.
ever with my old boss, like boss's boss. We used to work together in a different agency, but it was more accidental. I didn't really think that I was gonna start a company, but when he
Mm-hmm.
left the company, I was already like he knew that I was already gave notice and I was about to leave. I had a little gap after I quit my previous company. So I was freelancing with my now co-founder. Then we're talking about a bunch of different things, the way we work together very well, and then how
Mm-hmm.
we see eye to eye on a lot of things that we work on projects. So we're like, why don't we start a company together? And I felt like I was still naive in a way, which is a good thing if I think about it now. Like if it's me now, I'll be overthinking a lot of things. But then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that sounds fun. Let's do it. So
Jump right in.
jump right in. It's like it was so naive that I didn't know a lot, a lot about running a business, starting a company, like different things. And
Yeah.
I was already like I was managing people, but it's very different from running a company. There's a lot of other
Yeah.
things that I didn't know about, but I was fortunate enough that my partner actually, he was a partner of the entire organization. So like he already knew a lot of these. So I learned so
Mm.
much. And as soon as we started, we also got invited to this owner camp, which was his connection. So from there, it's like a boot camp of like how to start a company, how to run a company. And we
Mhm.
started as a remote company back in
Mm.
2015. So now it's very common, but at the time it wasn't that common.
Yeah.
So learning about how to run a company remotely and all that stuff, like full boot camp, and then over the course of 10 years, a lot of things starting to make sense. And then I made a lot of mistakes, but I also learned a lot. But it was a lot of hard work and learning and constantly learning, still learning.
So tell us a little bit about your startup and what it does.
So Endeavor is a technology agency. So we only focus on development, migration, maintenance of the websites or applications. So
Mm-hmm.
mostly work on content management systems. So our most of the clients are predominantly enterprise level digital publishing companies, but we
Mm-hmm.
have other companies like law firms or like finance firms or different firms, but mostly managing their contents and websites. And because it's
Mm-hmm.
we try to do in three like it's what we call the 3E framework. So like three experiences. So auditors experience, editors experience, audience experience, and development experience has to all work together
Mm-hmm.
cohesively in order to have a stable platform, stable website. Because these days it's not just a website. You have a lot of things going on
Yeah.
back end of it. So that's why we focus only on technology. We don't do design work or any creative work. We usually partner with different agencies or from the client's internal team to work on that.
Yeah, I've had websites on CMS systems. I know how the back end works a little bit, but I'm not. I can't build it or manage it. But we did have a point where we switched one of our sites to like a WordPress, and I did see the power of having it on a CMS system and the difference between the two and what the capabilities are and what we're more restricted with now.
Right.
Do you think that like companies that want to go the route of growth and content management and all those things, they should choose a CMS system instead?
Yeah, so it's easier
Yeah.
and then there's a workflow. So especially when you have, because the clients that we deal with have like a full editorial team and they pump out contents constantly. So like multiple
Yeah.
20, 30 blog posts a day, video content, all these other things. And
A
there's a lot,
day.
yeah. Yeah, we're talking about like a enterprise level digital media
I
company.
struggle to do one a week.
Yeah, so they have a full team that actually have a process. There's
Yeah.
approval process. Someone actually does. It's not like one person is writing everything. So there's like a
Yeah.
workflow for it. So there's a lot going on in the back end. So when I was referring to enterprise level, it's like a 10
Mhm.
million page view per month is
Yeah.
so that's their business. So like that's why they have all this content. But even for smaller business, or like if you have your own business or a mid-sized business, they have to promote their company. So with that,
Hmm.
it's a lot easier to manage your content if you have an actual system that's
Yeah.
built for that pretty much.
Got it. So you've led a company in one of the most male-dominated sectors. What's something about your journey that people often misunderstand or overlook?
So I've been in engineering or software development. Technology field is predominantly more male oriented.
Yeah.
As a female, like it was also I never really thought it was abnormal because I always felt like I was always a minority. Even like because
Me
I went to
too.
yeah, into engineering school, it's like, there's not that many females,
You're
especially
used to it, right?
yeah, so I was so used to it, so I didn't think it was abnormal. And also, I
Yeah.
don't know, because like, it's like it's how much you really put an effort to. So I feel like, so I didn't even think of that as like my minority or it's like a different thing.
Yeah.
It's yeah, so like if people ask me that, I was like, well, yeah, if I think about it, I'm a minority, but but I
Hmm.
just kind of overlook that. But I think one of the things that I have is like because I grew up in different culture and then because of the being a minority, like I was pretty quiet. So like a
Mm.
lot of times people just consider being quiet as like kind of like not confident, like more passive.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
it actually gave me a different advantage in a way that I tend to listen more. So I became
Mm.
a better listener and then just kind of like have a lot more time to think about it, process it internally before I start speaking. So that I
Yeah.
felt like became like a habit. So it worked out to a better advantage, I
Yeah.
think. But I think that was one of the trait that like, I was quiet and I was kind of reserved all the time, especially
Yeah.
now it's like there are times that I kind of like speak up and vocal, but in the beginning that was kind of misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm not a minority, but I was really shy when I first started in tech. And it's so funny you say that because I did the exact same thing. I was like, if I open my mouth, people are gonna think I'm stupid because I know nothing.
Yeah,
Right. And I
that's how
felt
it
like
felt.
really
Yeah.
intimidated by like these tech guys. But then, like you said, I just would sit in my little corner and I would just listen to the conversations. And then by the time they would like start a conversation with me, they'd be like, who are you? Because I had been listening to them for so long. It's
Yeah.
actually hilarious. But
Yeah.
I actually think that like that's kind of like a superpower to be able to like really listen and not speak up and just pay attention. It's something that people don't really do that much anymore.
And then another thing I noticed too, because like now that people starting to know me, because like this industry, like if you've been
Yeah.
in an expert in the industry, because people know you. So being quiet and now when I speak, it feels like I get more power to it. Because like I would
Mm.
only speak when I need to. So like people tend to listen better.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And I realized that so like I try to not overuse it, but then I know
Yeah.
that from some time on.
Yeah. And you know when to use it and you're going to be heard, right? That's
Right.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was one of the toughest turning points or decisions you had to make while building your business, and how did you navigate it?
Um, I think I mean, we're a small company, so turnover is relatively higher than bigger
Hi.
company.
Yeah.
Although it's like it's debatable, like, it doesn't mean that bigger company doesn't fire people, but in the beginning we were pretty quick to understand, because if it we'll give a couple chances, if it doesn't work, then we have to kind of move on to the next position. Even though you feel like you're getting used to it, but it's always challenging to me. I mean, I'm sure it's challenging to a lot of people, but it always felt
Yeah.
like it's a challenge. But it's just sad times that, like, if I have to let go of people, and there were times, like, especially when COVID happened, and like there were times that we have to let go
Yeah.
of people just because of the situation and economy, not because the person didn't perform well. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's always been the challenge for me, and I think it's still, but I'm getting used to it, but it's just still it's a hard thing to do.
So you're navigating through it is basically getting used to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, I think of someone, I think it was a Layla Hormozy, or someone's actually said it. It's like, you're just, there are always fear and like
Mm,
comfortness, but you just deal with
yeah.
it. It's just like, it just become easier by know how to deal with it.
I will say this, and this is just my own personal, because I've been through it. I never get used to it. Like it's so hard. I do have like little moments. I had someone who worked with me for like over 10 years, and then
Mhm.
she decided to leave, and like I was cool. I'm like, fine, whatever, you can leave. And then like after she was gone, I had a moment where I had a good cry because I was
Yeah.
so stressed out, and I'm like, oh my God, this person knew all this stuff. I don't know what she did, and now how am I going to figure this all out? Am I screwed royally right now? It's such a stressful moment. And I find that like even though even if I have to let someone go or someone leaves, like I always have that moment where I'm just really stressed out, and I feel like those people are not replaceable when really everyone's replaceable. But like that shock at first is like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah, yeah. I still have it. I just, like, I'll just deal with it. That's it. It's like, I'm by me saying that, getting used to it, I'm just dealing with it. So I know what pain I'm gonna get, but I'm just with it. It's kind of like, that's more getting used to part than like, it's
Yeah.
never easier. It's just dealing with it. It's like
Yeah.
expected.
For me, sometimes just having a good cry,
Yeah.
literally. It helps deal with the stress, like it's hard.
I actually, like, I don't know, maybe it's kind of lame, but I actually write it out. I put a
Oh, do you?
journal
Okay.
and then it helps
That's
me because
good.
it's like, I let it out on the paper. So like, it helps me.
Yeah. Like it's sort of like releases all that
Right.
stress that you're feeling. Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
As a woman leading a technical agency, how did you build credibility, especially with large clients and technical teams?
It's actually very, very simple and basic. Just do a good job. And that's really it. Because
I was
once you,
expecting
yeah,
this long ass answer. And
no,
then,
yeah, but it's like, sometimes it's really easy. Like, you just do a good job and you just prove it that you do a good job. And once you keep doing it, and people start noticing, and then, like, you're the person who can actually be trusted, and it's like, have
yeah,
good job with the people, because it's beginning of the engagement is always a little tough, because, like, especially the
yeah.
people really fresh, then you have to build that trust by doing a good job at what you're doing.
Right. And doing a good job builds the trust, but shows people that you know what you're doing,
Right.
essentially. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
also, I'm not afraid to say that if I don't know, I'll just say it. And I think it's also a advantage of being a woman and a
Yeah.
minority, or maybe it's personality, but I'm not shy to say that if I don't know, I'll just tell them I'll find the answer and I'll reach out to
Yeah.
know. So like, I'm not shy about that. So I think that
Yeah.
also give the credibility, that because I'm not gonna give like a BS answer.
Yeah, like I know it all when I really don't. I
Right.
always tell people, and sometimes I get like this look like, did you really just say that? And I this is my own personal belief. I'm like, I think the best leaders are
Mhm.
the ones that are willing to admit that they don't know everything and that they need help in certain areas, right?
Yeah.
Versus I know everything, I'm the boss and I'll figure it all out, right? Like it's humbling, number one, to show that you don't know everything. Number
Mhm.
two, to actually go out and seek the knowledge base or the people to teach you what you need to learn. I think that's humbling, and I think it goes a long way. But maybe it's a woman thing. I don't know. I'd have to ask a guy this too.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like, I mean, also, I think it's a security thing too, because like, I felt
Yeah.
like when beginning of the career, I tend to not ask. more questions because like I felt like it's like, is it gonna show that I'm that new or is that gonna show that I
Or
don't
that
know?
I'm dumb.
Yeah, exactly. But like at some certain point that I realized, I don't remember what the turning point was. Like I think it was at a client side that like I realized that the client, they're expert at their field, but they didn't know anything
Mm,
about technology. And I realized that, oh, people don't know everything. And like it's like a simple realization. There's like, and after that, I
yeah.
felt like, oh, I don't have to know everything. It's better that I asked and clarify than just
Yeah.
holding on to it. So like that kind of like became a I don't know. It's like not a habit, but it's just like I realize that I don't have to act like I know
Yeah.
if I don't know. It's like
It's
hidden
so
up.
funny because you and I have a lot of similarities because I'm listening to you and I'm like, that's one of the things that happened to me. Like I got shoved into a client meeting in Europe and I knew nothing. I thought I knew nothing and the guys couldn't go, sent me off on my own and I'm like really nervous. I think I'm gonna show up and like completely destroy everything. And then I'm there, just me and a bunch of the clients, and I realized at that moment that's like you said, the clients know their knowledge base and their industry. And I came in and I started like walking them through the challenges they were having and how we were going to help them solve it. And then at the end of that meeting, I was by myself. I went to the hotel room and I realized, damn, I do know more than I think. I didn't, because I was nervous. I wanted one of the guys to come with me, but no
Right.
one could. And
Hmm.
so that's what I was nervous about, right? But then I stepped in and I did it on my own and it was like, wait a minute. Maybe I don't need that support system
Right.
to give me like safety or make me feel secure. Like I do know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's getting shoved into those situations for you to have the realization, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Because
Yeah. And I'm sure you have them all the time, right? It's still
yeah,
ongoing.
yeah, it does. Because like sometimes I'll just like I got shoved into the meeting. I'm like, oh, I'm leading. Okay.
By the way,
Yeah.
do you have a presentation ready, right?
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, oh crap, but I'll make it through.
You wing it. And I think that's one thing that women are good at. We're good on our feet, we're multitaskers. Like if something's thrown our way and we don't really have the answer, we haven't prepared for it, we can sort of improvise and figure it out.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then like you'll
Yeah.
figure it out how to figure it out.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
I mean, we have babies that we've never had before and we figure out how to raise them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And try not to mess them up.
Right. Yeah.
But like I have conversations with new moms all the time who have no idea. And it's all of a sudden it's like you gotta feed this baby and make sure that diaper is changed and that it doesn't cry overnight and that it's healthy. Like you don't learn that. You learn as you go, right? So that's like I
Right.
think that's a really good example of just how women are really good like on the go. We
Yeah.
learn as we do it.
Yeah. They're built for that. So
Yeah. There's often a personal cost to resilience. How have you managed your own well-being and motivation while growing your business?
I think I've mentioned like I do journaling. So like
Mm-hmm.
in the morning and I do have like a morning exercise that it's my time that I have to kind of like have my own like if I go for jogging or for a walk or
Mm.
exercise, it's just my time in the morning before I start everything. So during that time I feel like I'm kind of meditating in a way and then just
Mm-hmm.
kind of think about and thinking through in my head and then also journaling helps me to kind of navigate different things. Like it's I actually started as a joke on the journaling site because I saw it somewhere, some podcast on the self-help. So it's during the time that I was so stressed out and I was like, what do I do? And then
Yeah.
it helped. It's like it's just writing it out and just kind of like even if I don't read it later, it's just kind of like
Yeah.
throw my idea, my thoughts or anger or whatever at eases it up. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I do, and I do take a walk if it's really heated up. So like it's
Yeah.
just, like sometimes I'll like even like a client email or something, I'll just write it all up and just kind of pause and walk away and walk around and then come back and then read it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is not something I'm gonna send. So there are times that I have to take a break and then just kind of go for a walk.
Yeah.
But journaling helped, and I actually recently heard about just deep breath. I haven't tried that yet. Just like
Mm-hmm.
doing a couple deep breaths actually helps too. So I was like, oh, okay, but I haven't
Yeah.
tried that. That's something to probably try it later.
I love the journaling part too. It's something I've been doing for years and years and years. But recently I changed up my strategy. So I used to have like a digital journal where I
Yeah.
would write everything in, and I would shut it down, and I would never go back and read it, right?
Mhm.
But I developed this custom GPT where it was sort of became like my to-do list, and then it transitioned into like a little bit of coaching. And by doing the coaching part, I started journaling directly on the GPT.
Okay.
So I sort of stopped doing it like on my regular journal. And you know what I really love about it? And this is
What?
crazy. It's like I'll go through the whole day and I'll write like my standard
Mhm.
diary, and then it gives me feedback on everything that I wrote.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it'll be like, oh, you had this thought, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with that thought. Maybe have you considered doing this or trying this exercise? Or it just gives me feedback on like my thoughts. And I'm like,
That's
and
great.
at first I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
But then I kept doing it more and more. And now it's like my ritual. My diary is in ChatGPT. I don't know if that's a good thing, but
Mhm.
it gives me all this feedback after every journal entry, and I really like it. It's very like, yeah, getting the thoughts out was
Mhm.
really good, but then getting feedback on it, I'm like, huh, it makes me rethink everything a little bit and just really dive deep into it. And so I don't have to go back and reread it because I already have the feedback. I don't know. I think it's just amazing. I'm in love with it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you kind of have like a semi-therapy session going on with ChatGPT over there. Yeah.
With my thoughts,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And also
I
it's
mean,
like
I
it's not like it's not opinionated. Like it's very
no.
so like it's better. Someone actually said like try that. I was like, I haven't actually tried it, but that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT knows me really well. I think at this point, it's pretty much a clone of me. I do pretty much everything on it at this
Right.
point. Like I
Yeah.
have, the other day I was talking to my sister, and she was so proud of herself because I told her about custom GPT. She's like,
Yeah.
I have three or five, something like that. I'm like, I have 27. And she's
Yeah.
like, what? I'm like, I have 27. I pretty much have a custom GPT for everything because I figured out that you could build a GPT based on, the need that you want it to serve, but you could also give it a personality based on, oh, you know what? I want a co-founder that's like Elon Musk, and you actually put that in, and it'll give you answers as if it was in Elon Musk. It'll give you that thought of training, of thought and everything. So I find it really interesting, and I love it. So it's like it's my go-to now for
Yeah.
journaling.
It's nice. Yeah.
Can you share a moment when something major went wrong, a launch, a project, a hire, and how you turned it around?
That's wrong. I mean,
We all have like these moments where it feels like everything is failing, right?
yeah. I
Did you
mean, like
have one of those?
it was constant in the beginning, especially, but
Yeah.
I guess it's one of the topic that we don't talk about a lot because we initially
Yeah.
started the three partners. So
Mm.
and we ended up buying out one other partner because he's good at so it's like a different personality. So like as an agency, there's specific personality trait
Mm-hmm.
that you need. I don't think he had it. He's a smart guy. He's actually very good at like an in-house software engineer, very strong
Mm-hmm.
at a background, like a technical background and things like that. But the way we worked together, like the pace was different, the way we
Mm.
handled the client was different. So like a lot of things were not meeting eye
Yeah.
to eye. So it's like I know like the partner having a partner can be blessing in disguise or it can be a great thing, but it can be also a very difficult thing if you don't have a right partner. But fortunately,
Yeah.
the other partner and I were going like everything, we are almost like finishing our sentence and we're actually seeing a lot of
Mm.
things very similarly while we're complementing our different skills. But the other partner, it didn't fit with us too. So
Yeah.
we ended up buying him out, but it wasn't ugly like some other stories, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it was hard. It took about a
Yeah.
the whole process to go. So that was one of the most challenging ones for the course of the whole
Yeah.
company. But it's a good decision for both. And I think he's happier because like when we went through the whole thing, he literally because he was so stressed out too because he knows
Mhm.
because like and he's a really nice guy too. So then he knew that he was
Mhm.
bringing what we needed him to deliver, and he was so stressed out during the time, and it was because he was stressed out, just like things just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So when we finally parted, it was better for both ends, but still, it was a very difficult time.
Yeah.
But hindsight, it happened for a reason, but it was also a very great learning experience as well.
Yeah. But I mean, at least you sort of caught it earlier rather than later. Because if it was later, it probably would have been tougher to
Harder,
get
yeah.
through that, right? Because you would have
Yeah.
had a lot more, clients, and you would have been longer in your journey. So I think catching that early is really important, and it looks like you did. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, early, relatively early, because now we're in year 10, but it was about second year. So like
Okay.
so it wasn't like right away. It was more
Yeah.
a little later on. But
Yeah. But
if I
10
think
year would have been worse.
yeah, because if you caught that like later on, it probably would have been worse. But yeah, but
Yeah.
still, like it's a process. Sometimes at the business that things happen that way.
Yeah. And hey, listen, you've made 10 years. Good for you. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's so weird that my partner and I were just talking about it because we became 10 years in June. So
Okay.
we're like, I can't believe it's 10 years. I feel like we just started this.
Yeah. Time
10
flies,
years.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So many founders get stuck trying to scale from a few clients to consistent growth.
Mhm.
What worked for you in building a sustainable business?
So that's still something that we struggle scaling up. Because there are times that because both my partner and I are still very hands-on. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things that we probably would have, if we were hands off earlier, it could have been easier to scale, but also there might be other things that have to give.
Mm.
So, but because we were both hands on, so we're very lean and we're very profitable. But at the same time, if the client work it gets busy, other things get,
Ah,
less priority. So like that,
overlooked.
yeah, it was more like it was a vicious cycle in a way for the company growth. So we're trying to be more cautious of like, yeah, so when we are both busy, sales or like even like marketing, those things got less priority because that's not the one that's making money right away. It's like more
Yeah.
investment type of thing. So we're trying to be more cautious of that so that we focus and allocate time for internal things or like, outreach and then
Mm-hmm.
other like other function of the company. But that's still challenging also like, we need it's also finding the right people to scale together is always hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, and keeping the right people is also hard too. So that's
Yes.
like still feels like it's a challenge that we still need to overcome to scale to wherever we want to go. But
Yeah.
we're still in process, I feel like.
Well, I mean, having the right team is really what's going to make it, right? Having just the right people in place to be doing the things that you need them to do and trusting them to do those things so that you can focus on the high level stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I was joking, it's telling this to my business partner. I was like, because a lot of times that like when you're owner of like you started a company, it's harder to
Mm-hmm.
let go of. It's like I told him like I have no problem letting go if I find the right
Okay,
people.
that's good.
But it's just that like I need to find the people. But I guess that's part of not letting go because you feel like some people have to be like, like it has to be a certain
Your
level.
clone.
My expectation might be a little too high. So like yeah, but
Yeah.
like I feel like I have no problem letting go. But I was like maybe not. But
Yeah, I think at first I had like a lot of I had a hard time letting go of control.
Mhm.
And then I went through a stage where I'm like, nope, I'm hiring people because they know the job better than me. That's why I'm
Right.
hiring them. And then I kind of would like let them go off and do their job. And then I would realize that you can't do that. There has to
Mhm.
be like a middle ground where, you're still working with them,
Yeah.
helping them build your company. You can't just let people go off and do whatever they want. So it's
Right.
not like control or being. I thought I was a control freak, and I thought if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. I think it's really about finding balance and becoming a good mentor to your team too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Because like there were times that we wanted to delegate certain function, and then I realized
Mm.
I need to know how to measure the KPI, and then whatever we want,
Ah,
communicate that to that team so that they understand to make sure that we're making sure we're progressing. But like
Yeah.
there were some hires that prematurely hired it without me knowing how to even handle that portion. So that was
Yeah.
also like a learning that, and through that process, I learned to kind of measure better on certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's that's still, yeah, it's letting go is one thing, finding the right people is another thing, and then finding the right people and letting them know what they need to do
Yeah.
is also a different thing.
I'd sometimes, I'll go to people, I'll be like, oh, can you do this? And I need this, get this done, blah, 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 blah. And then, I'll have an answer like, oh, I'm really busy. I don't know when I'm going to get to that. And then I'll go back to my desk and I'll be like, busy doing what? Like, what do you do exactly? Right. So like those KPIs are super important because you have to know like
Yeah.
what what your team is capable of, what they're not, and what they're actually doing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's but good for me and good for the team too. They need to know what they need to do or they're
Yeah,
measured too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on time, but before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. For founders who feel stuck, burnout, or like they're constantly hitting a wall, what's your message to them?
What helped me is actually I joined the masterminds and the different so like work meeting other founders or entrepreneurs
Mm,
and talking to them and working with them. Like it was really helpful. And then I realized too, because like those people, like the people, some people say that business owners they're just they're just gonna compete. It's like they don't. They're actually very,
mm,
very open to help other people and want to grow together. At least for the people
yeah,
I met, they were so into helping you if I'm stuck on certain areas, like, I can just reach out freely and then they'll just like give their recommendations and like, or they'll introduce me to different people who can actually help me. That's been really
yeah,
helpful. So I wish I joined earlier just to kind of like, sometimes if it's just sharing the frustration, because when you're running a company,
yeah,
there's a lot of weird stress that comes with it that people might
yeah.
not understand if you're not in this function. So that helped me a lot. So I recommend people finding the right group and then just join them and just kind of see and grow together. Because like sometimes when you're in a group of people who are similar minded and just kind of going forward, that also
Hmm.
motivate you more to go forward as well. So that helped me. So
I
that's
love that.
that.
Community, right? It's
Right.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't feel so alone and you got, maybe
Exactly.
maybe I should start a group called the Founders Venting Group. I'm kidding.
That does
Like you some
happen. Like, there's like a little chat and then some fun thing going on and it's
yeah,
like,
like sometimes you just need someone who actually gets what you're going through to just
yeah.
be able to vent and they'll give you that feedback, right?
And it's surprisingly similar to what you went through before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
Well, Miki, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your journey. You've been in tech for a long time, so I always admire and have respect for women who have hung on that long. So that's cool. Thank you. Is there anything that you want to leave our audience with before we wrap up?
no, this was really fun. I was actually enjoy the whole conversation. Thanks for inviting me, Sonia.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome, and thank you. I want to thank Miki for joining me today and openly sharing her journey. What stood out most was her unshakable clarity, how she navigated early credibility gaps, scaled her business with integrity, and stayed resilient even when things got tough. One key takeaway is that success isn't about having it all figured out, it's about staying committed through uncertainty and finding your own leadership style even in the face of doubt. And that's a wrap. To our listeners, thank you for joining me on this journey of learning, growth, and inspiration. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform and connect with our community on social media. I'd love to hear your feedback, so leave a review and let me know what topics you'd want to explore in future episodes. Remember, the future belongs to those who embrace challenges, adapt with tenacity, and keep pushing forward. Keep growing, keep pivoting, and most importantly, stay tenacious in your pursuits. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to bringing you more insightful conversations in our upcoming episodes. This is Sonia signing off, but as always, keep chasing your dreams with tenacity.